Hello everyone, it's Mr. Kissinger at the Citizenship Academy in Syracuse, New York, and this is 5th grade math module 6, lesson 1. We're going to construct a coordinate system on a line. So if we look at our first problem here, we have this number line here, and it says, answer the following questions using the number line Q below. So what is the coordinate or distance from the origin of the smiley face there? So our origin is right here where it says 0. 0 is the origin of the number line. It's where the number line starts or originates from. And if we want to find where the what coordinate the smiley face is on, well, that's fairly simple because we have a 3 right here, so we know that it's at coordinate 3. Now the next one on here, letter B, it says, what is the coordinate of the lightning bolt? Well, there's no number here where the lightning bolt is, so we're going to need to figure out what coordinate that represents. Well, if we have 3 here, and then we have 6, and then we have 9, it looks as though we're counting by 3s. So we have 3, well, 4, 5, 6, so it looks like each one of these small ones is represents 1. So this is 4, this is 5, that's 6, this is 7, and this is 8 right here. So our lightning bolt is going to fall right at 8. Sometimes on a number line, it's not going to label every single number for us. This one has intervals of 3. So if we look at letter C, this is what is the coordinate of this heart right here. Well, without writing in all the numbers here, we can look and see what's close to it. And we see that 15 is right here. Well, 1 back from 15 would be 14 because each one of these little things is 1. If we go 1 back from 15, we would get to 14. So the coordinate of the heart is 14. Now, letter D is a little bit different in the way that they ask it. It says, what is the coordinate at the midpoint? So we have this word midpoint here of the lightning bolt and the heart. Now, the midpoint is the point that is right in the middle of the two coordinates. So we're going to need to figure out what is smack dab right in the middle of these two. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to jump 1 here, and I'm going to go 1 here. And I go 1 this way and 1 this way until we meet right in the middle at this point right there. And that point, again, I'm going to look for something close to it that's labeled. I have number 12, and I go back 1 space, and that's going to be 11. So the midpoint between those two is 11. All right, so let's look at number 2 here. It says, use the number line to answer the questions. And it's asking us plot t so that its distance from the origin is 10. So our origin, again, is right here at 0. And we want to find the distance from the origin to be 10. Well, this is 3, 4, 5, 6. So it looks like we're counting by 3s again. So I'm going to fill in 6 and 9. And if I want to find 10, well, I'm going to locate 9 on my number line. And I'm going to move 1 space forward to 10. And 10 is right here. And that's just a plot point T. So I'm going to label this with a T. Next it says plot M so that its distance is 11/4 from the origin. So this time each one of these little lines here is not going to be 1. This is 3, So these big ones here, these big lines are 1 and 2, 1, 2, 3. So these ones are going to be fractions in between, but we need to figure out what type of fraction they're going to be. What's our denominator going to be? Well, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 jumps from 0 to 1. So those are going to be fourths. We have 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, and 4/4 at 1. And we want to find a distance plot m that's 11/4 from the origin. So I'm just going to count 11 of these little spaces. So 1, 2, 3, 4/4, 5, 6, 7. Well, 2 would be 8/4. 9, 10, 11/4, right before the 3. And the 3 would be 12/4, so that makes sense to me. It says what plot M right here, so we're going to call this M. And then it asks us what the difference is from P to M. So we'll have to jump from P, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6/4. So the distance from P to M is 6/4. All right, the next one tells us that we want to plot T so that the distance, from the origin. Oh, that's the one that we already did there. This one we have to look down here. Plot a point that is 0.15 closer to the origin than Z. So we have 0.75, and then we have 1 over here. So this number line is kind of strange. It goes backwards. Instead of our origin being over here on the left, our origin is going to be somewhere over here to the right that we can't see. And which is we have 0.75 and 1.0. I'm going to think about this kind of like money. So like I have 0.75, that's like 75 cents. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 between that and my $1 there. So I know that each one of these is going to be 5 cents because I would have 25 cents between 75 cents and $1, and 25 divided by 5 would give me 5. So each one of these is 5/100 or 5 cents. So this one will be 0.8, and this, or it could be, we could put 0.80 if we wanted to. This one's going to be 0.85, 0.9, 0.95, and then we have 1 whole. And we want to plot point T so that it is, or plot a point that is 0.15 closer to the origin than Z. So we have Z right here, and we're going toward the origin, toward the right here, because 0 would be somewhere down this way. We'll go 5, 10, 15, 15/100. And it doesn't tell us what we want to plot that point, so, well, we have Z. Let's call this one X. And that's going to be 0.15 closer to the origin than Z. And then the last one here says plot U so that its distance from the origin is 3/6 less than that of W. So we have 9 up here, we have 10 down here, and it looks like, again, our origin is going to be somewhere up here, up and to our right. So we want a distance from the origin to be 3/6 less than that of W. So we want it to be 3/6 closer. It looks like we have 9, 9 and 1/6, 9 and 2/6, 9 and 3/6, 9 and 4/6. So every one of these is 1/6. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. And we're going to have point U right here at 9 and 1/6. And that'll be 3/6 less distance from the origin than point W. So now we have this number line K. It says it shows 12 units. And we're going to use that number line to answer the questions. On letter A, it says plot a point at 1 and label it A. So we have 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. So our halfway or our midway point between 0 and 2 is going to be 1. Right here. We'll label that A. Again, our number line appears to be going from right to left this time. So our origin is on the right and our greater numbers are on the left. Label a point that lies 3.5 at 3.5 as B. So each one of these, it looks like, is going to be a half. We have 0, we have 1/2, we have 1, we have 1.5, we have 2, we have 2.5, we have 3, we have 3.5 right here. 1/2 closer to the origin than 4. That'll be point B. Now it says label a point C whose distance from 0 is 8 units farther than that of B. So we're going to have to do C 8 units farther from the origin than B. So if every one of these is a half, every 2 is a whole. So we need 8 units. So we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And C is going to be right here. The coordinate of C is 11.5. Now it says plot a point D whose distance from 0 is 6.5 less, or 6/2 less than that of B. So 6/2 less than that of B would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's going to be right here next to A at 1/2. Now it says what is the coordinate of the point that lies 17/2 farther from the origin than D? So now we need to go 17/2 the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. And it's going to be right here next to point F. We're going to have point E. And point E is 8, 8.5, 9. So it doesn't ask us where that's going to be, but it'll be at 9. And then what is the coordinate of the point that lies halfway between F and D? So I'll have to figure out what lies right in between F and D, the midpoint here. If I go, I'm going to jump by, I guess I'll just go by ones. 1 here. I'm going to use the bottom here so that I don't mistake my jumps on the top for my jumps on the bottom. 1, 2, 2. I have a little ways to go, so I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1 and 1. And I meet right in the middle here. This is gonna be point G. And what is that coordinate? Well, we have 4, 4.5, 5. So G will be 5. All right, so that's all the time we have for today. Thank you guys for tuning in and look forward to seeing you next time.